The Earth is under attack. Alien forces are taking over everything in their path. Colorado, November 2003. On his way to a military base, Major Fry is forced to stop after getting a flat tire. His companion suggests asking his new subordinates for help, but the officer hesitates. He doesn't want to appear helpless in front of the soldiers, so he decides to change the tire on his own. At one point, Major Fry and his companion hear the sound of an approaching military ship. No flights or tests are scheduled for today, which seems suspicious. Moments later, they spot an alien ship crashing in the nearby desert. Rushing to the scene, Fry and his subordinate discover the wreckage of the alien craft, confirming that humanity is not the only form of intelligent life in the universe. It's 2016. U.S. Vice President Rainey delivers a speech to the nation when panic suddenly erupts. The military receives information about an impending alien invasion, with Earth surrounded by hundreds of enemy ships. The security team, led by Agent Taylor, immediately decides to end the meeting and take the Vice President, her husband Senator Randall, and their disabled son Bobby to the high-security bunker for protection and to ensure the continuity of the government, despite any potential problems. At the same time, President Oliver, located in the White House, receives the news of the alien invasion. The first enemy ships have already breached the upper atmosphere and are invading Earth, signaling hostile intent. The president demands a visual of the alien ship, but it is impossible since the aliens have disabled all satellites. Civilian communication and the internet are still operational, but the government and military are nearly blind, with no access to most data or servers. It soon becomes clear that similar alien ships are being spotted over major cities, including London, Washington, Paris, and Moscow. President Oliver orders action to be taken, hoping to show the world that humanity is ready to fight back against the invaders. The first pair of fighter jets is deployed to approach one of the massive ships, study it, and send data back to the higher-ups. Split up, one of the pilots decides to get closer to the ship in order to note its distinctive features. As the fighter gets too close, the alien ship opens fire. The female pilot tries to escape, but the aliens destroy her. Minutes later, the U.S. military sends a new group of fighter jets with orders to damage or destroy the enemy ship. As the 7 fighters enter the combat zone, enemy combat planes head straight toward them. The pilots are forced into an unequal aerial battle and suffer losses, unable to inflict significant damage. Trying to break formation and use all available weapons, they realize their plan is failing. At one point, one of the pilots decides to act as bait for an alien fighter. The second pilot comes from behind and opens fire, shooting down the enemy aircraft. A few moments later, the pilot is surrounded by other alien planes, who execute him. The Earth is attacked by thousands of small drones, spreading fear and panic among the civilian population. People realize that an invasion has begun and scramble to find shelter, but it's useless, as the drones track them wherever they hide. President Oliver understands that any non-nuclear weapon is powerless against the aliens. Other countries also fail to combat the invaders, and the decision is made to deploy nuclear weapons. The world's most powerful nations begin preparations for a nuclear strike, putting their missiles on high alert. At the same time, alien ships scan the Earth and gather data on the missile locations. Upon entering secret and restricted zones, they essentially freeze the nuclear missiles, making them unusable. Realizing that they must try to activate the nuclear football, Oliver undergoes a retinal scan, but a massive alien ship attacks the White House. As a result, the United States loses its president and several thousand high-ranking officials who were in the building at the time. Upon learning of the attack, General Roundtree reminds everyone that the country cannot be without a president, meaning Vice President Rainey must assume Oliver's position. Ready for the responsibility, Rainey takes the oath of office and vows to do everything she can to protect the American people and their interests. The destruction of the White House becomes known not only to the political elite but to the people worldwide. Kelly Reid is deeply affected, as his brother worked in the White House and is most likely dead. Though they hadn't been in touch for a long time, the loss is no less painful. Determined to protect humanity and honor his brother's memory, Kelly forms a militia called the Guardians of Earth. The group consists of both former and active military personnel, along with volunteers scattered across the globe. Soon, the aliens contact the presidents of most countries. They reveal that they come from a similar planet in the Orion constellation and have attacked Earth in self-defense, believing humans to be too violent and dangerous. After destroying the Kremlin and other key structures worldwide, the aliens dictate their terms. They have neutralized the nuclear bombs because they don't want to harm either themselves or humanity. Despite their seemingly friendly intentions, the aliens plan to destroy all military bases and important political sites within the next 2 hours. This is to ensure that humanity no longer poses a threat to other, more peaceful beings in the galaxy. Rainey realizes she cannot keep the public in the dark, so she records a video message explaining what is happening. The new president of the United States does not know what to do in this dire situation, but she has 2 hours to figure out how to counter the aliens. During this time, as promised, the aliens destroy all military bases and major cities, increasing tension among both the public and world leaders. After neutralizing the potentially dangerous sites, the aliens contact humanity again. They announce that humans can start anew on another planet, where they will be safe. Transport ships are being sent to Earth, capable of carrying about 1 million people. Humanity has 5 days to select the lucky few who will secure a place on the ships. The rest will be destroyed, and humanity will cease to exist, leaving the heads of state to make the difficult decision of who deserves to survive. Rainey realizes that the terms set by the aliens are not only too harsh but also practically impossible to fulfill. 1 million lives saved is too few for a planet with over 8 billion people. Humanity is not prepared for mass evacuation and lacks the necessary resources. Thus, the President of the United States decides to negotiate. Programmer Harry finds a way to restore communication with the aliens so Rainey can request a modification of the terms, making them more acceptable. She has to speak slowly, calmly, and clearly, so the aliens can translate and understand her proposal. Rainey tries to convince the aliens that humanity does not pose a threat and that humans often act aggressively due to distrust. But when faced with a stronger race, they are capable of being friendly and compromising. However, the aliens have no interest in this. Rainey asks the aliens to confirm that their intentions are truly peaceful and that their transport ships pose no threat. The aliens promise to prove their goodwill, despite the harsh conditions. They are capable of feeding the hungry and healing the sick, as they have ample resources and advanced technology. To demonstrate their sincerity, they invite Rainey and her family to Washington, where one of the transport ships is located. As a gesture of goodwill, they are willing to heal Bobby and give him the chance to live a full life. Rainey is skeptical, but Bobby is willing to do anything to be healthy. He understands that if the aliens deceive them, they may not only take his life but also destroy the entire planet, so he believes the risk is worth it. While the aliens block people and prevent them from boarding the transport ships, Rainey and her family arrive in Washington. It is still unclear whether the ships are truly safe, so the police and National Guard are stationed to protect the people from any potential threat. Crowds of the poor and sick are willing to take the risk and break through the defense lines, but the government orders the protection of the citizens for as long as possible. Not fully trusting the Orions, Captain Goddard is the first to board the transport ship. The surveillance camera scans him and demands that he surrender his weapon before the mechanism can activate. Reluctantly, he leaves his weapon behind but notices that the aliens do not block the camera or communication devices. He examines the ship and detects a strange odor on board. Believing the ship to be sufficiently safe, Goddard signals for Rainey and her family to come aboard. The president is not allowed to enter the unmanned transport ship, as it may be dangerous. Bobby is accompanied by his father, who is just as skeptical about the possibility of regeneration as the rest. Bobby is the only one who believes in the healing process and is eager to enter the regeneration capsule. As soon as the boy enters the confined space, a process begins that causes him severe pain. Rainey watches anxiously through the camera, terrified by the state of her son. She rushes to the ship to help him and open the door, but the aliens block access to the regeneration capsule. After a few minutes, they allow the door to open, and to everyone's surprise, Bobby emerges completely healthy. People cheer, believing that the aliens truly have the ability to help the weak and the sick. It seems that the first success has been achieved, but the general and the programmer have some unsettling news. After analyzing the situation, they discover that the aliens have been lying. They didn't come from another star system. Their path is far stranger and more convoluted, but the main ship orbiting near Earth definitely didn't come from Orion. Harry is tasked with uncovering where the aliens really came from and their true motives. Meanwhile, the Guardians of Earth infiltrate one of the transport ships. Armed and ready, they are detected as a threat by the alien scanners, which open fire without hesitation. Several volunteers lose their lives, but Kelly manages to plant explosives and detonate the ship from the inside. Similar incidents begin happening in other major cities, raising concerns as the militia refuses to obey the government. The US president decides to return to base so Harry can decode the signal and determine the aliens' origin. At the same time, they attempt to establish another communication session. Trying to determine the aliens' route while also holding a conversation could overload the processor, risking the shutdown of the bunker's computer. Rainey understands how dangerous this is but cannot ignore the aliens, hoping for peaceful negotiations. The aliens announce that they are ready to disregard the original 5-day ultimatum and destroy humanity immediately, as many of their transport ships have been damaged by the militia. Rainey promises to resolve the Guardians of Earth issue, provided the original terms remain unchanged. The aliens agree to delay the destruction of humanity if the US president can stop the militia. Rainey orders Kelly and his team to be stopped, but her husband, Minister Randall, decides to go the opposite route. Knowing Kelly, he instructs the group to continue their mission of destroying the transport ships. Meanwhile, a critical problem arises in the bunker. The processor becomes overloaded. This causes the bunker's systems to shut down, including the oxygen supply. With so many people in the bunker, there's only enough air for a few minutes, and restarting the computer automatically is impossible. The only way to avoid becoming trapped is to manually restart the device. The general and his subordinates rush to the generator, but the oxygen runs low, and they lose consciousness before they can turn the valve. Just when it seems all hope is lost, Bobby, who has recovered, rushes after the officers. He manages to turn the valve and restart the generator, but the programmer needs to reboot the system. Harry passes out, but Agent Taylor, using his last strength, manages to do it. Oxygen flow is restored, and fortunately, they avoid any casualties. Soon, another transport ship arrives at a supermarket parking lot. Following the senator's orders, Kelly and his team infiltrate the ship and plant explosives. Their plan is flawless, but people break through the police lines, trying to board the ship. The police pursue them, making a fatal mistake. The alien's computer detects the weapons and opens fire, causing civilian casualties. The militia detonates the transport ship, resulting in even more unintended deaths. The senator realizes his plan was foolish and admits he bypassed the orders of his wife, the president. At the same time, the aliens announce that Rainey has broken her promise and failed to stop the Guardians of Earth, meaning they can begin the extermination process. Thousands of small drones start attacking people, firing at anyone they encounter. Some of Kelly's mercenaries are lucky, as the drones spare them after they surrender and drop their weapons. Soon after, Major Fry arrives in the bunker and reveals a top government secret to the new president. In 2003, there had already been contact with aliens of this type. Fry himself discovered the enemy ship and found the remains of an alien aboard. This discovery allowed scientists to create a device that enables a human to infiltrate an enemy ship as if they were one of their own. All the inventions are purely theoretical, as none of them had been tested in practice. To confirm Fry's claims, Rainey asks her husband to contact the militia and assign them a new task. Kelly and several fighters head to a neighboring state to find the wreckage of the destroyed ship. There, they manage to find the body of an alien that had crashed. Meanwhile, Harry is working on deciphering the aliens' language and identifying their alphabet, hoping not only to communicate with the enemy but also to gain access to their technology. Soon, Fry and his assistant board an enemy transport ship to test the latest inventions. With the help of modern devices, they easily infiltrate the ship and make their way into restricted technical areas. Fry attempts to modify the system, but the alien computer detects the change and executes the Major's assistant. Despite the threat, Fry returns to the technical room and continues to hack the system. Once he succeeds, he uncovers the aliens' secrets. To his horror, he learns that these aliens colonize planets similar to Earth. Their home planet bears some resemblance to ours, allowing them to exploit Earth for their own purposes. Even more terrifying is the fact that the transport ships don't stay at the central ship. After only a few minutes there, they head to Earth, throwing people into open space along the way. It becomes clear that their goal is not salvation but the total extermination of humanity. The general suspects this is a wartime strategy to leave Earth intact but devoid of human life. This minimizes potential resistance and destruction, allowing the aliens to take over the planet without opposition. Bobby suggests revealing the truth to the world, but his mother decides to keep it a secret from the public. This information becomes the US government's only leverage in negotiations, so they cannot publicly disclose it. Soon, Captain Goddard receives the alien's body and conducts an autopsy. He discovers that these are weaker and smaller individuals, used by the aliens as soldiers. Through chemical experiments, Captain Goddard creates a biological weapon that is virtually harmless to humans. It can cause the aliens to suffer and ultimately destroy them, but to carry out the plan, they must find a transport ship. The aliens attempt to negotiate with Rainey, as she is the only one who hasn't yet cooperated with them. Ignoring the call, she and her group head to another transport ship. Goddard leaves the biological weapon aboard the ship, and Fry programs it to return home. It seems like the plan is working, but the aliens uncover the plot and destroy their own vessel. Afterward, they demand a personal meeting with the President of the United States. Rainey realizes that the only way to stop the invasion is to personally go to the aliens and release the biological weapon aboard their ship. Saying goodbye to her family, the President of the United States boards the transport ship with Agent Taylor, Goddard, and Major Fry. Upon arriving on the main alien ship, the four split up. Rainey and Taylor go to negotiate and meet the alien in charge of the invasion. It turns out that humans are an energy resource that the aliens use to sustain their lives. They are willing to spare society's elite and not destroy their families if the government sacrifices the rest of humanity. All other world leaders have agreed to cooperate, and now the decision lies with Rainey. The US president also agrees to the deal and offers to shake hands. As soon as they shake hands, the alien starts to feel ill. The woman used the handshake to infect the alien, and she watches as it suffers. The ship begins to collapse, and the four attempt to return to the transport ship. The alien soldiers execute Taylor, but the others manage to escape just before the main alien ship explodes. As a result, the invasion is stopped, and the drones and other ships are disabled. One of the last alien ships tries to shoot down the transport vessel with Rainey, Fry, and Goddard aboard. Fortunately, the fighter jets manage to destroy it, and the president safely lands the ship. Humanity has won, and the threat has been eliminated, but it becomes clear that Earth must be better prepared for future alien attacks. When Earth is under threat from extraterrestrials, the question arises, what does it mean to be human? In the face of total danger and uncertainty, what keeps humanity together as a whole? Is it culture, the drive for freedom, or the capacity for resistance? Share your thoughts in the comments down below, give a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.